What practical details about interviews and interview protocols are examiners looking for? And what do I include in my methods chapter about my interviews?
Yeah. So here again, detail, detail, detail. Your examiner wants to know who you're interviewing, why you selected them. They want to know the context in which the interview is being done. Is that interview being done in person? Is it being done through a virtual platform? And I would even go as far as to say, name the virtual platform. Is it Teams? Is it Zoom? Is it whatever, FaceTime or whatever it is? Maybe it's on the telephone. So being very specific in that way, thinking about your protocol. So, are you entering into the interview with a sort of introduction where you re explain, where you solicit verbal approval to continue with the interview, verbal consent to continue? Is it structured or semi structured? Are you sticking to your list of 10 questions, or might you ask follow up questions? Give us some examples of what kinds of follow up questions you might ask and when you might ask a follow up question. And then you should also include the list of your questions, but that really should be, I think, an appendix at the end, not necessarily in the text of your methodology. So your examiners will want to see your questions. I always tell people to script the whole interview. So when I'm coaching folks, I always say script your whole introduction, ask for verbal consent, and then script your exit. What are you going to say to them? How are you going to say thank you before you click off? The last thing I would include here is, how are you going to record that interview? How are you going to transcribe that interview so that you can analyze it? And then how are you going to store all of that so that it is safe and secure? I always suggest recording every interview, even if it is in person, even if it is a phone call, where maybe recording takes a little, a couple extra steps than like on a Zoom or a Teams meeting where you just hit a button, right? But you want to do that so that you can go back and make sure that you're getting those exact perfect quotes so you can put those quotes into your final dissertation.
I think that's really great advice. I was waiting to see if Matthew was going to mention the interview guide, but that's exactly what you want to do. Having that clear structure of how you're going to tackle it is going to be great. And you don't even have to go into too much detail in the methodology chapter itself. You can just refer to the appendix and where that is. And then the other thing is just some practicalities as well. How long is your interview going to be? How are you accessing the people for your interviews? There's a lot of those little practical steps. And the best bit of advice I can give here is take a look at dissertations again, because as Matthew mentioned right at the start of the session today, journal articles don't necessarily always provide the level of detail that's expected in a dissertation. So take a look at a PhD or a master's degree dissertation from your institute, or even if you can't access your institutes, look in your field of study, because there are often norms and expectations. I did a science degree. We had a very different methodology chapter to a social sciences based project. And so there are those norms and expectations that do differ between fields. So always go back and check those to see if you can find out what's a good gold standard that I can follow and just adjust to my context as well.